Hello, you comrades. Haramasaika. No Bullshit recently posted some, well, bullshit. We'll be looking at a recent video of his wherein he does the typical criticism of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Let's not give all of the memes away at the start here, though. Just be prepared for some galaxy brain takes in this one. For the blessedly uninitiated who somehow don't know, No Bullshit is a YouTube alt-right pundit and grifter who claims to focus on stopping bullshit wherever he sees it. Contrary to this narrative, however, a cursory look at any of his content will provide us with a lot of examples of blatant mistruths and general reactionary tomfoolery. He also weirdly slows down the recording of his voice for some reason. Like when I and most other people have to look at the videos he makes, we all have to ramp the speed up to 1.5 times the normal speed. Listen to a no bullshit video without this. I'm sorry for your ears, but the video without the speed being increased is just painfully slow. Like it hurts my brain. I'll link his video in the description below, so you can be sure I'm not taking him out of context or strawmanning his positions, because, well, there's a lot of that's going to be going on in his video, so. Alright, let's get started. I'm so sorry.
They hate rich people for some godforsaken reasons, mostly related to them despising our economic system, capitalism, which of course is what's creating more rich people than anywhere else in the world.
Only a minute and 30 seconds in, No Bullshit seems to not understand the argumentation behind the establishment of socialism and a more equal distribution of wealth. He claims that capitalism produces more billionaires than any other system. Well, duh. The obvious issue is how those people acquired that wealth, through the exploitation of their workers, most of whom, in America, live paycheck to paycheck. Now, keep this fact in mind when watching his video, and count all the times No Bullshit says "we" in it, wherein he associates himself with the rich. Really, he wants to bend the narrative and put words in AOC's mouth, that she hates the rich because they're white. Now, having successfully strawmanned AOC, he'll go on about how socialists want our wealth. Now, meaning whites' wealth. What wealth? It's all a funny little trick Bullshit Man is adept at. It's true that the median income for whites is higher than that of black people, for example, but the conflation between that disparity in wealth and the absolute insane disparity in wealth between your average American and the top 1% is nonsensical, and a ridiculous thing used to get his audience riled up. And looking at his comments section, it really worked. Now, No Bullshit seems to think that leftists don't attack people of color who are rich, contrasting the examples of big money men like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, for example, to Oprah Winfrey and Jay-Z. The association being that all of these people have a lot of money, obviously, feeding into this narrative that really AOC just hates rich whites exclusively. Now, I shouldn't have to entertain his straw man any longer, but just to clarify, AOC never said anything about redistribution of white billionaires' funds alone. Further, any knowledge of leftist critique of the current wealth gap would show that nowhere do actual socialists turn a blind eye to black billionaires. All of the political theory points to wealth hoarding or one's relationship to capital, full stop. All of the critiques of billionaires stand, regardless of what race they are. Just another example of Bullshit's blatant anti-intellectualism, or maybe just illiteracy and grift. By the way, it's funny as hell that he's trying to make a point of standing up for rich white dudes and trying to hold a moral high ground, while also showing this lizard man, who made a fuck ton of money selling vast amounts of his website's users' private information to other companies. I really don't know, actually, just the mind boggles. He also laughably goes through the horrible struggles that billionaires who inherited all of their wealth have to go through, like paying taxes, of which in the US many of them pay less as a percentage of their overall income than the average US citizen, and the ever unenviable task of having to hire security. Won't won't someone think of the billionaires and their struggles? He's also too dumb to know the meaning of the phrase slave wage? What?
For this title and subtitle section of this article, let's get to talking about the ending part where Alex invokes memories of slavery, modern day slave wages as she puts it. Well, that's just another way to say these billionaires are pro-slavery now, and probably white supremacist racist too, at least in the eyes of liberals and leftists. Never mind the fact that again, there's no evidence or crimes proven to have happened here, and no direct evidence has been presented.
No Bullshit compares AOC's criticism that the workers are being paid slave wages to the idea that she's somehow saying that billionaires are actively engaging in chattel slavery, and then goes after that. Again, it's another straw man, but it's funny as hell. His brain, I don't actually think it works. No Bullshit, the meaning of wage slavery or a slave wage is to say that someone is so dependent on the wage that they're receiving from their boss that they are not inclined at all to be able to find another place of work because training might give them lower wages. They're dependent on their paycheck, and like that, they're shackled to their current employment. It's not to say that they're in a state of chattel slavery or they're being whipped or that their bosses are actually pro-slavery like you suggest. That's ridiculous. Your brain needs to be fixed. But, oh boy, ladies and gentlemen, oh boy, the absolute meme is coming. Are you ready? Here we go.
Talk about how billionaires supposedly sit on couches while their workers do all the hard work. This seems to be the implication here, and it couldn't be further from the truth.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Though, let me first put out a disclaimer. I'm not necessarily here to defend the rich, particularly billionaires. They've already got everything they need, and they have people they can hire to defend themselves.
I have very strong opinions about something I know nothing about. I'm saying this now so I don't get called out later for my brain being like mush. No bullshit. Billionaires are definitionally bad. They're terrible for our democracy. Their influence over our politics and, their support of all of these conservative political views that are holding us back in the fucking Stone Ages, um, it's stopping our ability to move forward as a society. They are the reason why global warming is going to destroy this fucking planet.
But at the same time, this liberal hatred for them is clearly unfounded, and it's based on the left's want and need to take money away from people, even though they don't deserve it. Left wingers think our money is their money.
Our money. In a video about why billionaires need to be defended from the evil paws of AOC, who wants to take them to task for their exploitation of the workers and, subjugation of our democracy. Okay, but I've held this bit off long enough, so here you go.
And that couldn't be farther from the truth. First of all, have you ever seen a billionaire CEO or company president sit down on a couch at all? Sure, they probably have a couch or two in their big offices, and they may even take a seat on one from time to time in a meeting or something, but they're certainly not sitting back, laying down, watching TV, and eating chips all day.
What are these semantics? Like, obviously AOC is just saying that they are not doing any of the labor. She can't empirically know that they are all sitting on their couch. She doesn't have like her third eye open wide enough to see all of them at the same time. No bullshit. What? Okay, I'm sure you guys are all bored. Here's gonna be the final bit that I want to look at, and then, you can enjoy the rest of your day and absolutely forget that I mildly inconvenienced you with this video. On AOC's talks about worker co-ops, Big Brain Bullshit says,
Billionaires should give their companies to the employees, huh? Really doesn't get much more communist than that. It seems quaint now, but I actually remember the days when communists and socialists were properly looked down upon in American society. We knew that their system sucked and you had to work shitty jobs you didn't like there, just to eke by with a sort of minimum wage life, which usually resulted in your people forming breadlines anyway. This negative association also used to be directly related to our resentment of Russia as well, them being one of the world's most notable communist nations for decades.
No Bullshit has a massive brain, so he knows that the best rebuttal he could possibly give to anyone supporting worker co-ops is to go, "Oh yeah? You support worker co-ops? Well, that sounds like a leftist position. You know who else was a leftist? Joe Stalin." Anyway, that's about as much of no bullshit as I can take, or expect any sane human to reasonably be able to take. I was going to make this video a bit longer, but there are some parts that I cut out because, well, I realized that this is already going to be too long anyway, so Yeah, I've been Kasky. I hope you like my second video on this channel. I know it's sort of not the best quality still, but you know, I'm getting there. I'm gonna be a big brain boy one day. Um, anyway, I'll see you all next time.